Alright, so what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper and welcome back to another video. Today, guys, we're going to be ranking every single weapon in PUBG from worst to best. That's right, we're going to be taking every single weapon in PlayerUnknownsBattleGrounds and ranking it from the bottom of the barrel worst guns that you'd probably be better off maybe using a marshmallow shooter, and then ranking it to the god tier absolute best guns in this game. Now, there are a lot of weapons in this game, so we're going to go over some of them rather quickly, but a lot of the, main guns that people like to use and that I think are really good or really bad are going to be talked about a little bit more and kind of delved into, but there's a ton of guns in this game, so we're going to go through this list maybe fairly quickly. But before we get started, I've got a really cool surprise for all of you. I'm doing a giveaway, and it's really easy to enter, but I'll explain it in just a second. What I'm going to be giving away are these really cool level 3 helmet keychains that I have an absolute ton of these, so I want to give them away to a lot of people. Now, all you got to do to win one of these is make sure you leave a like on the video. I'd appreciate that a lot. Subscribe to this channel. You must be subscribed to enter this as well. And the final thing you need to do is just let me know in the comment section right now, what is your favorite gun in PUBG, your #1 favorite of all time. Once you've done all that, you are entered into the giveaway. And also, while you're at it, if you guys don't mind checking out my second channel, the link will be in the description. I'd appreciate that a lot. I've been posting on it a lot more, and the support on it has been crazy. So if you want to go take a look at it, it would mean the absolute world to me. And with all that said and out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and start on the worst to best guns in PlayerUnknownsBattleGrounds. So we're going to go ahead and start with the pistols, because these are obviously not what you want to run in the mid or late game. These are only to help you really get your first kill and then get started from there and get the ball rolling, but nonetheless, we got to talk about all of these. I think we need to start by talking about the worst of the worst pistols in the game, and of course, this is the revolver. This one fires 7.62 rounds, and to be honest, those bullets can do a lot of damage to your enemy and make them flinch a lot and stuff like that, but this gun has a painfully slow reload time. The iron sights are nothing to write home about, and to be honest, you may or may not be able to kill somebody faster by dropping that gun and just, using your fist. So I say just get rid of this thing, and if you're in a situation, just start throwing the hands, you know what I mean? The gun that is just a step above this thing, but barely by any, is the R45 from Miramar. This gun is only in the desert map, and it's a little bit better because the reload time's faster, but even then, it just doesn't do a lot of damage because it fires a .45, and it's just not very good at all. Now, the next one we have is the P1911, and I like this gun a lot because it shoots the same ammo type as the R45, but the reload time is much quicker, and the fire rate is much faster as well, so this is always a good option. And then right after that, I'm going to give it to the P18C. This is the automatic one, and while its damage is definitely on the lower end and you won't really be doing that much harm to enemies, it's great if you're playing against squads and trying to hold a lot of people back while buying yourself and your squad some time. It's perfect for that. And then the best pistol in PUBG, in my opinion, is the P92. This is the one that holds 15 rounds and has a lot more damage than the previous pistol, so if you can hit your shots, you can drop people insanely fast, and it is probably the best starting out weapon as soon as you land. Now let's go ahead and go over the shotguns. So we have 4 shotguns total so far in PUBG. We have the sawed-off that is only in Miramar, and then we have the pump shotgun, the double barrel, and the S12. So for me personally, my least favorite shotgun and the worst one in my opinion is the S12. And I don't know why, me and this gun just don't gel well together, but when I use the S12, I just feel like it has very poor damage, very poor range, and I will always drop it for any other shotty in the game, literally, if I come across it. But that has to be the worst one. Now, the step above from that, I'm going to give this one to the pump shotgun. And a lot of people like the pump shotgun and run it as like a primary secondary, if you will, you know what I mean? They always use it. And I like that. It's really good for squad games, but just for me, I would much rather play with the step above that, which is the double barrel. I think it's really nice. So that would leave my favorite shotgun to be the sawed-off that you can only use in Miramar. I don't know why, I just have really good feels about this. It's kind of like the double barrel where you can just fire off 2 shots real quick and drop people, but for some reason, I just don't know why I can't put my finger on it, the sawed-off is more fun to me to use. This wasn't that hard for me to pick from the shotguns because I don't really play with them. I know a lot of people just use it as a secondary, and that's a perfectly fine strategy, but it's just not really my thing. Now let's move into the SMGs. This was harder for me to rank because I like a lot of these SMGs and I run them quite a bit as well, and they're pretty much statistically very similar as well as practically very similar, but there are going to be some preferences that I do have. So the SMGs that we have to choose from right now are the Micro Uzi, the Vector, the UMP, and the Tommy gun. So I would have to say the worst SMG in PUBG has to be the Micro Uzi. This thing has surprisingly low damage. It's basically like a pea shooter. It is unbelievable, and while it does have a pretty large magazine size and a really quick fire rate, you're not going to be dealing that much damage, and you're going to find yourself reloading quite a bit. It's not too bad with extended mags, but please don't run the Micro Uzi unless you absolutely have to. Now going on from there, another SMG that's kind of bad is the Vector. I don't run this hardly at all. Now its biggest weakness is the magazine size. guys. If you put extended mags on it, it's okay, and it can actually compete with like the UMP and other ones that we're talking about here, and even some assault rifles. The Vector's alright at that, but it's not a gun I would use in the mid to late game. It's only early on if you get lucky, maybe that's all you have to work with. You have a step above the pistols, of course, but the Vector is probably a no-go for me as well. Now, getting to the better side of the SMGs, I'm going to give this one to the UMP. I like this gun a lot. I think it's actually quite good and can compete with some assault rifles. The thing is, it acts pretty much just like it. It has a 30 in the clip, kind of just like a standard AR, and when you fully kit this out, it's even better. So, it's statistically better than the Micro Uzi in literally every single way possible, so there's no reason to choose that over the UMP. But I like this gun because it's very versatile. You can use a lot of attachments. It's great for close and long range, and I just enjoy it quite a bit. But in my opinion, I think the best SMG to play in this game, or at least my favorite anyway, is going to be the Tommy gun. Now, this fires .45 just like the Vector does, but the thing about this is that when you put extended mags on this and a foregrip, it can absolutely shred. Without any attachments, this thing is pretty rough to use, so I wouldn't use a Tommy gun unless you have those available, but the recoil is pretty hard to manage, and the iron sights aren't the prettiest, but if you can get around that, and especially in the early game, you can come through and just dump truck people with the amount of ammo you have, and your pretty quick fire rate as well. It's really, really good. I recommend you try it. I think it is the greatest SMG when it does have attachments. I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for that, because a lot of people think that the Tommy gun is absolute garbage, and the UMP is the way to go, but I think the Tommy gun is just maybe a slight cut above the UMP, and I would run it in certain situations. Also, fun fact about the Tommy gun you may not have known is that it used to be an airdrop crates only when the game first came out, and they changed it to make a regular weapon. That's something that not a lot of people knew, and I thought was interesting, is that they used to value it as an airdrop weapon. So now we'll talk about the LMGs, but this is going to be really quick because there's only technically 2 of them, and this is the DP28 and the M249. Now, the DP28 can be found anywhere on the ground. It was recently added, and it fires 7.62. It's a pretty hard gun to manage, and there's not a lot of attachments you can put on it. And then the M249 is only in airdrops. It fires 5.56. I think this is an incredible weapon. It is the best LMG. I think we obviously know the answer here about which one is the better out of these two, but the M249, I think, is one of the greatest guns in the entire game in general. Now we get to the assault rifle part. There's quite a few of them, and this is a really hard choice as well because there's so many amazing weapons in this list. Right now we have the M416, which is the fully automatic one, the M16, which is the single shot or burst weapon, Scar L, AKM, and Groza, and the Groza is only in airdrops. And also, we just got the brand new AUG A3 assault rifle as well. That's only available in drops, just like the Groza. But I have to say that the worst assault rifle in PUBG is the AKM right now. I don't know why they decided to nerf it when it's already kind of hard to use. The problem is the recoil is really bad, hard to control, and the damage is nice. It fires 7.62, so you'll be putting out a lot of DPS to enemies. But it's just it's so outclassed by all the other ARs. I always let it go if I have better options. Now, coming up from that is the M16. That's a little bit better than the AKM, and I used to love this gun a lot, but they did something to it. And I was talking to my friends. I don't know if it's a fire rate cap or they slightly nerfed the damage and didn't tell us. I'm not sure, but it doesn't feel as good as it used to. So I usually drop the M16. I don't run it if there's better options as well. Now, getting into the perfectly average assault rifle, I'm going to give this one to the Groza. The Groza is just like a slightly better version of the AK. It's got less damage, and it's easier to control. You can put some attachments on it, which is nice, and it does fairly the same damage, but I just think it's a step above that, and definitely better than the M16 in my opinion. If I get it in drop, I am going to run it, but it's not something I'm going to go out of my way for and risk my life to get it as well. Now, coming up from that is going to be one of the best assault rifles in the game in my opinion, is the Scar L. Now, this gun is perfectly average in terms of statistics, but it's so consistent feeling that if you can get a good feel for the gun, you won't run into a situation that the Scar L can't handle. Like any range, any situation, you're gonna be fine if you know what you're doing. Now, the one of the best assault rifles coming up after that and getting to the top tier is the M416. Now, with the most recent patch and where we are in the game, I think the M4 with the hollow sight is the way to go and what every player should be running if that is the option. Because it's got the single shot and full auto mode, if you put it in single fire, you can take people at a pretty good range, and then if they get to medium or close, put it in full auto, and if you have it fully kitted out with a barrel attachment, a grip, and a mag attachment, as well as a stock and a nice sight, you can take people anywhere, and the recoil is surprisingly minimal. So I say this is the best standard assault rifle, and I say that in air quotes because the actual true best AR in my opinion is the AUG A3 that recently got added. This is like the M4 on steroids when it's fully attached out. This is insane. Statistically, it's got to cut above the rest all these other AR, And if you know an enemy in your game is using it and you're about to engage them, be very, very careful because their firepower is going to be off the charts. But like I said, you're going to use this gun very scarcely because it's only in drops, and it's even really rare that you'll get it in a drop as well. So don't expect it to run it too much, but if you do, you'll be in good shape. So our last category to talk about today is going to be the sniper rifles. Now, I'm also going to combine some of the DMRs that are technically classified as that in with the sniper rifles because that's pretty much how they're used and I think where they belong in this list. So with that being said, for our snipers, we have the Mini 14, the SKS, Kar 98, the M24, the MK14 EBR, VSS, and AWM. Now, the worst absolute garbage sniper rifle, which is the one I'm sure you guys agree with, is the VSS. This quite literally shoots the same ammo type as some of the pistols, as well as the Micro Uzi. So it shoots 9mm rounds. The only thing that the thing has got going for it is that it's got a built-in silencer. So if you're far away, nobody's ever going to know where you're shooting them from. But the problem is you need to land multiple shots. And if your enemy has armor that's level 2 or 3, you're going to have a very hard time killing them, and landing shots required to take them down. Now, the next pretty crappy assault rifle, but not quite as crappy as the VSS, is the SKS. Now, the good thing about this is that it fires 7.62, and those rounds do a lot of damage, way more than 9mm, but this thing, there's still nothing really to write home about because it has an incredible recoil. Like, upon each shot, it's got a lot of kick, and if you put attachments, it's like, okay, but the recoil is still pretty hard to deal with, and not only that, but it got nerfed recently, so the fire rate cap is very, very low, and you can't spam it like you used to be able to. So climbing up to the best sniper rifles, but still in that lower tier, I have to say this is the Mini 14. Now, I liked it when it came out because you could shoot it really fast. The bullet speed was incredible and unmatched to any other gun, but now they've made a lot of tweaks and changes to it where it's pretty much just like a very, very slight edge above the SKS, and I just don't tend to run it at all. It's pretty much a worse M16, and I wouldn't recommend it. But something I would recommend is the MK14 EBR. This one's only found in airdrop crates, but what I like about it, it's just like the SKS, but good, you know what I mean? It fires the exact same bullets, 7.62, which do a ton of damage, and the really cool thing about that weapon is that it has a full auto mode in case you want to throw a red dot or a hollow on it and want to go up close. It's super versatile, and you can treat it like a sniper rifle or another weapon type, which I love. But I think a sniper rifle that's even better than that and more common is the Kar 98, and a lot of people love this. It's a go-to. This thing is really, really good because you can drop people regardless of their helmet type. As long as they're not full health and have a level 3 helmet, if you headshot anybody with a 1 or 2, they're instantly gone, no questions asked. I'd say overall, as a rule of thumb, the bolt action sniper rifles are the way to go, but the thing is, you need to pick your shots carefully because if you miss, and putting another round into that chamber will take a little while. But something that's even better than the Kar 98 is the M24, and this is only found in drops as well. It's just like the Kar 98, but a little bit better. I think the reload time is slightly quicker, and every time you rechamber it, it's a little bit faster as well. Damage is a bit higher, but it's not quite like the most god tier sniper rifle in the entire game. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know this, the king of PUBG, the AWM sniper rifle. This gun is crazy and you all know it. This sniper rifle will delete people. If somebody has a level 3 helmet and is full health, it doesn't matter, they're instantly gone if you land a headshot. That's how crazy this gun is and how high the damage is. It fires 300 Magnum rounds, so that is the only weapon to run that type in the entire game. So if you come across this in drops, you will be completely set up in terms of sniper rifles. I will say with confidence that the AWM is the greatest gun in Battlegrounds. It trumps every other single weapon statistically. And if you are so lucky enough to have an 8x as well as a silencer on it, just everybody else should probably just stop playing because you're going to win that game no matter what. It is absolutely, it's nasty, but I think that is the best gun in the game, and then probably the revolver that we talked about at the beginning would be the worst gun in PUBG. So, guys, this was all my opinion. This is every single gun in PUBG ranked from worst to best, and let me know in the comment section what your guys' favorite weapon is and why. And like I said, if you want to enter the giveaway, just go back to the beginning of the video. That's all you got to do. Just leave a like on it, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and then let me know in the comments what your favorite weapon is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this list nonetheless. I will have more PUBG videos coming like this on the channel very, very soon, so stick around for that. But anyways, all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I really hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I'll have a lot more coming up just like this. But thank you guys for watching once again. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next live stream or the next video. Peace out.